What's good, Modern Retro Show fam? Teacher Eddie back in the house with another ERB reaction. This request coming to us from one of our newest Patreons, a Viking nerd. So today we're doing the Battle of the RRs. I never realized until today that they both have RR in their name. Except I wonder if George ripped that off. Not sure. But again, so I am 0 for 20. I've done 20 ERBs, and every time I've chosen a favorite, they've ended up losing. So I do like Lord of the Rings. I honestly read the book when I was like a kid, and I don't know, it just didn't resonate with me. I enjoyed the movies. The movies were good, really long. But I gotta go with George because I just love Game of Thrones so much, both the books and the TV show. You know, obviously the final season had some issues, but hopefully George actually finishes this rap battle, unlike his fucking books. And of course, want to remind everyone, if you haven't done so yet, please check out the Discord. The Discord's been popping. It's been up for a couple of days, already over 500 people on there, chatting away in 80 different categories, so there's something for everybody. So link is in the description. Without further ado, let's start the battle.
George R.R. Versus J.R.R. Tolkien! Begin! Brace yourselves! Gather up your trolls and your soldier elves! And your ents and your orcs and your wargs!
Right off the bat, man. Number one, good job. I mean, he really does look like George here. But of course, brace yourself, right?
Gather up your trolls and your soldier elves! And your ents and...
But I just love Tolkien's look here. Like, the hell are you talking about, son? Why are you naming all my characters for?
Your orcs and your wargs and your stings, your dwarves and clamdrings! Cause there's a new literary lord in the ring!
A new literary lord in the ring! Right, so of course referencing Lord of the Rings, and of course they're battling, so it's taking place in a ring, like a boxing ring. Literary lord, though, I will admit, as far as between Martin and Tolkien, I mean, Tolkien is a literary master. Like, there's really no comparison. I will admit that right off the bat.
My readers fall in love with every character I've written, then I kill them. And they're like, I can't tell. Your bad guys die, your good guys survive. We can tell what's gonna happen a page in H5. So you're all seeing how to find some sex in your movie. Yeah. Ditch the Goonie and cast a couple boobies. There's engineer plots and not David the Gnome. Your hobbit hole heroes can't handle my throne.
All right. Just want to break that down. I will say George not starting off super strong here. I think he's been living off his own jive for too long. Need to get off that. Need to get off all that sex and actually finish the fucking book, man. Let's see.
The dwarves and clamdrings, cause there's a new literary lord in the ring. My readers fall in love with every character I've written, then I kill them.
Yeah. So of course George loves those. He loves them some blood, some red weddings, some purple weddings. Hold my door, hold my second breakfast, son. You know, but I don't know. This is kind of a weak first verse here. So of course, I mean, you know, killing off Jon Snow was like a big thing, but then of course Jon Snow comes back. Spoilers, and yeah. Whereas in Tolkien's books, I mean, you know, it's the archetype, right? The good guys win. But there are plenty of good guys who died. I mean, Tolkien didn't do it for shock value, right? Like the children in Nurin be like, yo, what's up, man? Are we a joke to you?
And they're like, all your bad guys died, your good guys survived.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. You know, the main good guys survive, of course, you know, Frodo, and then, you know, the 52 endings we had in Return of the King. Every time I was like, oh man, what a great movie. Oh, it's not over yet, is it? Oh, okay, thank God. All right, so, oh, no, it's not.
We can tell what's gonna happen a page in H5. So you're all seeing how to find some sex in your movie.
Yeah, that is just George coming off as creepy as all hell. Bad look, George. And saying that, you know, your readers can figure out what's happening by page 5 and age 5. So, of course, saying, you know, his books are, you know, like, you can tell what's going to happen, like, right at the beginning. There's nothing surprising about it, you know, and even a child, you know, could figure it out. But, yeah, the sex, George loves him, that sex. And, look, I can't fault him, you know. He's got a little for the men. He's got a little for the women. He had that Khal Drogo,
Yeah, ditch the Goonies and cast.
Ditch the Goonies. So he's talking about, oh, what was his name? Oh, Frodo's best friend. I forgot. I think it was Sean Astin, right? Sean Astin was in the movie.
A couple boobies. There's edgier plots and not David the Gnome.
The Adventures of David the Gnome was an animated series, which was obviously, it wasn't like dark or anything like that. So, but he's saying like, your shit's so weak, like, you know, there's more edgier stuff in David the Gnome.
Your hobbit hole heroes can't handle my throne.
And of course, referring to the Iron Throne, which is what everyone is after in Game of Thrones. Everyone wants the Iron Throne to be the ruler. Poor Hodor. That was the only time I cried during Game of Thrones was Hodor. Hodor just broke me, son.
Kings, queens, dragons, dwarves, horses, fortresses, magic, and swords. You have bit my whole shit.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
Dragons, dwarves, horses, fortresses, magic, and swords. You have bit my whole.
You bit my whole shit. Oh man, I think I'm going 0 for 21 right now. You bit my whole shit. So he went through George's books and he's like, okay, kings, queens, dragon, okay. Yeah, you just bit my whole shit. Bit my whole shit.
Oh shit, you uninspired hack. You want a war, George? Welcome to Shire Rock. In book sales, you got nothing to say. I'm number 1 and 2. You're under 50 Shades of Grey. I got the pro.
Wow, now that's how you open shit up. That's how you open up in round 1. In book sales, you got nothing. You bit my whole shit.
You uninspired hack. You want a war, George? Welcome to
Shire Rack. And what George? Okay, you can make also like a George Bush reference there. George Bush II, Iraq, Chirac, and of course the Shire.
Iraq. In book sales, you got nothing to say. I'm number 1 and 2. You're under 50 Shades of Grey.
Wow, that is like a triple burn. Because, of course, Tolkien's, books are like among the greatest selling books of all times. And as great as the sales are for, Fire and Ice and George's books, it is true. I mean, they're probably not even in the top 50. Not that I've researched it, but I guess that's what he's trying to say. Like, you're under 50 Shades of Grey. Or maybe that the book sales for Fire and Ice are less than what 50 Shades of Grey did. And plus 50 Shades of Grey, of course, was crap.
I got the pros of a pro. Your shit's a ball. You're a pirate. You even stole my RR.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. I never realized they both had the RR in their name until I saw it in the title. I was like, wait, George R.R. Tolkien and George R.R. Martin? RR, son. You stole that shit. You pirated my R's.
Oh, we all know the world is full of chance and anarchy. So yes, it's true to life for characters that die randomly. But newsflash, the genre's called fantasy. It's meant to be unrealistic, you myopic manatee.
Oh, calling him a manatee? That's a little bit low, but okay. It's okay.
We all know the world is full of chance and anarchy. So yes, it's true to life for characters that die randomly.
All right, so he's basically saying, yeah, of course, I get what you're trying to say, that, people do die randomly. But again, George does it more for the shock value than anything. Yeah, the genre is fantasy, right? Suspension of disbelief.
It's meant to be unrealistic, you myopic manatee.
Wow, you myopic manatee. That's harsh, man.
I country.
Okay, yeah, I mean, round 1, definitely just, that's all Tolkien right there.
Righteously object to what you're doing on these beats. I'll cut you like my teeth on Beauty and the Beast. You went too deep, Professor Tweed Pants. We don't need the backstory on every fucking tree branch.
Okay, all right. That's a criticism. Let's say I conscientiously object. So yeah, that is interesting. I know for sure that Tolkien served in World War I, but I believe, if I am not mistaken, that George dodged the draft. So conscientiously objecting, so conscientious objector is somebody who objects to being drafted into war, which is the same thing that Muhammad Ali did during Vietnam.
Conscientiously object to what you're doing on these beats. I'll cut you like my teeth on Beauty and the...
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. What a god-awful show that was, but great makeup, though, for the time. It was a TV show in the 80s, and George did cut his teeth. Cutting your teeth means, you know, getting, you know, practicing, right? You know, honing your craft. So, you know, like your first shot at something. So he did cut his teeth on Beauty and the Beast, because I remember looking up his IMDb credits.
You went too deep, Professor Tweed Pants. We don't need the backstory on every fucking tree, bro.
Yeah, so especially in Clerks 2, Kevin Smith definitely called out Lord of the Rings when they were arguing what the greatest trilogy was, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. And I think it was, I forgot which one. Was it Dante? I don't remember. Anyway, so the guy was like, the fucking movie is all about fucking walking trees. Hey, this is part 1. A tree was walking. Part 2. The tree's still fucking walking. There was so much walking in that movie, and fucking trees. Walking in trees. Walking in trees. So yeah, that's the big credit. Like, they're super long. They're super long, but, you know, it is what it is. People obviously love it.
I cut my teeth in the trenches of the Somme. You locked your Santa Claus ass through Vietnam. Man, it's hard for me.
LARP, George. J.R.R. Tolkien just said LARPed. Mark the date. Mark the time. March... What is May 2nd, 2021? I just heard J.R.R. Tolkien say LARPed. Oh my God. I cut my teeth. So he's saying you cut your teeth on Beauty and the Beast, but while you were dodging the draft, I was busy fighting, you know, in World War I in the trenches of Somme.
My teeth in the trenches of the Somme. You locked your Santa Claus ass through Vietnam.
You LARPed your Santa Claus ass through Vietnam. So, of course, making a fat joke there. But also that he just role-played his way. LARP stands for, I think it's live action role play. And yeah, so he's like, well, I actually fought in war. You just role-played your way through a fucking war. So it was Vietnam. Well, yeah, George would have been too. Yeah, Vietnam.
Man, it's hard for me to take criticism on clothes. From a dude who sends a raven to say hi to its toes.
Oh.
For me to take criticism on clothes. From a dude who sends a raven to say hi to...
Wow. Who knew J.R.R. Tolkien can be so fucking fierce? A raven to say hi to your toes. Well, of course, you know, calling Tolkien out on, you know, his tweed clothes and calling Professor Tweed. So Tolkien was a professor, by the way. He was a professor, and yeah, you know, they were tweed back in the day. What's the big deal? But it's not like George R.R. Martin is like the bastion of style, right? We're not talking about George. We're talking about George R.R. Martin. We're not talking about George Clooney up in here, right? But yeah, also saying, yeah, you that gut's so big you can't even see your toes. And of course, in what's the name of the fucking show? Game of Thrones. There you go. Good going, Eddie. Game of Thrones, they use ravens to send messages. So you got to send a message. You got to use a raven to send a message to your toes because you can't see him. Harsh, bruh.
Man, your fat jokes are worse than your pipe smoke. My show's the hottest thing on HBO. I'm rockin' roll.
Fuck, man. Why'd you have to do me like that, George? I had faith in you. I thought there was going to be like the Battle of the Bastards. I thought you were going to bring it hardcore, but you're really screwing the pooch on this one. You're screwing me, George. Come on. That's all you got? Oh, my show's the best on HBO. Yeah, okay. Ugh.
Jokes are worse than your pipe smoke. My show's a
Really? He comes with a killer line like you gotta send a raven to say hello to your toes, and all you're gonna be is like, oh, those fat jokes are worse than your pipe smoke. Really? That's all you got? My show's the hottest thing on HBO. I'd rather, yeah, okay. Yeah, fire like that pipe smoke. I got it, George. No good.
Hottest thing on HBO. I'm rock and roll, you're a nerdy little nebbish, and I may be dirty, but you got a hairy foot fetish, dog.
That flow was nice. I like that flow. But let's review what he basically said.
I'm rock and roll, you're a nerdy.
I'm rock and roll. You're a nerdy little nebbish. So as a nice Jewish boy, of course, I know what a nebbish is. A nebbish is somebody who's, kind of shy. You don't really notice them. Nerds, basically. It's the Jewish way to say, oh, that boy, he's a nebbish. What are you gonna do? Yeah, so nerdy little nebbish. Although that kind of negates it because you already said nerd.
Little nebbish,
and I may be dirty.
But you got a hairy foot fetish.
You got a hairy foot fetish. Oh yeah. Yeah, the hobbits do walk around barefoot all the time, and even though they're very short in stature, they do have giant feet that are really hairy. Yeah. Foot fetishes, really, but son, George, you really don't want to go there because your show is all about brothers banging sisters, having son brothers. It's just a whole mess going on there. So you know what? A foot fetish in comparison, you got people cutting off people's Johnsons. I mean, come on.
Dog, even the names of your characters suck. Got buffers and buffers and brandy bucks. I got a second breakfast for all them goofy fucks. Lift up my gut and teabagging's my nuts.
Okay. That was a good way to at least end the verse. But I'm going to call George out again on some bullshit here, though. Let's see.
Names of your characters suck. Got buffers and buffers and brandy bucks.
So he's trying to say that Tolkien's characters' names suck. Like, your whole shit sucks, but even your character's name sucks. This coming from a man who named the dragon Drogon. Really? Want to talk about naming shit? You just swapped out a vowel.
Got a second breakfast for all them goofy fucks. Lift up my gut and teabagging's my nuts.
All right, that was a good one. Lift up my gut. So he's turning the fat jokes on himself. And, Teabaggins. Of course, talking about the Baggins clan. Bilbo Baggins, Frodo Baggins. They're like the main, like family of the story arc and everything. Frodo goes on the mission to return the ring to the lava pit and all that shit. So Teabaggins. Nice play on there. Teabagging my nuts. Let's see. And we're going to call that second breakfast. So hobbits do love to eat. They're all about the second breakfasts, and the third breakfasts, and the seventh breakfast.
Goofy fuck, lift up my gut and teabagging's my nuts.
C.S. Lewis and I were just discussing how you and Jon Snow both know nothing. Because the backstory on my box office is billions. Got my children making millions off our Silmarillions, and I'm more.
Yeah. I'm 0-21. I don't even need to watch the rest of this. I am 0-21. Wow. C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis was the author of the Narnia. I never read the Narnia book, but I know C.S. Lewis, of course. So of course you got two, major titans in the fantasy world, Tolkien and Lewis, and he's like, we were just talking about your ass, how you ain't bringing any heat in this one.
Lewis and I were just discussing how you and Jon Snow both know nothing.
Damn, and the fire, look at that, you both know nothing. So that was a big tripe, in the Game of Thrones series, was, you know nothing, Jon Snow. Him and his girl there. You know nothing, Jon Snow. She was always just calling him out like, you don't know shit. He's saying and I gotta agree.
Because the backstory on my box office is billions. Got my children making millions off our Silmarillions.
Yeah, Silmarillions. So Silmarillions were a set of books released after Tolkien had passed away, kind of like Tupac's discography. Like every year, Tupac's got another CD coming out, but Tupac did leave like a ton of unreleased material that could probably last another 20 years. But it's the same thing with Tolkien's. Tolkien's like, you know, my shit makes billions. Like, I've been dead and my shit is still making money. So my kids can live off that, and their kids can. And
Said I'm more rock and roll than you ever been. Don't believe me? Ask Led Zeppelin. You can't reach this fella. Shit, I'm too towering.
that is a good point. Cause George did say, like, I'm rock and roll and you're nebbish. You're a nebbish, you know, you're a nerd.
Children making millions off our silverillions, and I'm more rock and roll than you ever been. Don't believe me? Ask Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin did write a bunch of songs that were inspired by Tolkien's works. Like, they were huge fans of him. So that is true, man. That is true. So nothing George said really can fucking stick here. You know, and I'm amazed, unless he's saving it for the last line, he didn't even call him out on the big one, which is the fact that George doesn't even finish his own fucking books. Too busy thinking about the sex. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And that was so good.
Don't believe me? Ask Led Zeppelin. You can't reach this fellow.
I'm too towering.
I'm too towering. Every time I'm better,
It's Return of the King. So he just named the 3 movies, right? Fellow, right? You can't follow this fellow. Fellowship of the Rings. I'm too towering. Lord of the Rings, 2 Towers. And then the third one was Return of the King. So he just ended that wow. This again. And it's not even that George was terrible. It's just in comparison to a literary genius, this wasn't even close. I lose again. What can I say? 0-21. One of these days. Oh boy. Anyway, love this. Viking Nerd, thank you so much, of course, for the suggestion. And again, if you haven't done so, we can continue this discussion in the comments, but also you can come over to the Discord. We have an ERB channel, but like I said, we got 80 different channels for you to choose from, having a lot of fun there. And of course, as always, gonna shout out the Hall of Fame Patreons, and I will see you next time, fam. James R.
Space Udo.
Elena.
Ulrike.
Biker Dude.
Alex.
Baba Mama.
Aaron Shepard.
Big J Jobina.
Chris H.
Clement.
Vajandra.
Murikakari.
Alan P.
Chad.
Dallas Seeger.
Freeman.
Nathan.
Rasmus.
And Viking Nerd.
We've been Modern Retro Show, and we'll see you.